Hello, hello, hello. Happy Friday. It's Lisa Copeland here. And like I promised yesterday, I'm going to be going live a lot more because I've got a big event coming up on April 19th. Big webinar. And what the webinar is about is how to use your 401ks, your orphan 401ks, your Roth IRAs, your SEP IRAs, whatever it is, to be able to purchase real estate. And, I came up with the name of this whole thing that, courage is the new currency. And why is that, right? You think about what courage is. Courage is doing something you're afraid to do, right? So if you've heard me speak before, in the absence of courage, you do it scared. And I talk about that with people because, there's so many times that fear paralyzes us, right? Like you're afraid of something and then you're just paralyzed in your track. Like, you won't make the phone call. You won't go to the doctor. You won't apply for the job because you don't think you're qualified enough. You won't ask the girl out on a date because you don't think you're cool enough, whatever it is. So what fear has is this crazy innate ability is to paralyze us, to make us stop dead in our tracks. And so when I speak on fear and when I talk about fear, and I've been hired by Fortune 1s, Fortune 5s, I speak at women's events, men's events, whatever that looks like. But I'm like, okay, but in the absence of courage, right? So courage is doing something that we're afraid to do, right? That takes courage. It takes guts. Like we're afraid to do it. You're afraid to move forward. If you're out there, if you've ever been scared of anything, throw it in the comments, right? Give me some feedback on that. But throw it in the comments. We've all been scared. I can remember the first time I did one of these live streams. I was working with a marketing company out of New York. I'll never forget this. This was like back in probably 2017 is when I really started doing these live streams. And they were like, you have to live stream. You have to build an audience. You have to do if you want to be a thought leader in the sales world. And I can remember getting on and just absolutely freezing. Like I couldn't even hardly get 2 words out of my mouth. I can remember the first time I walked on stage as a speaker, right? And it was, I'll tell you when it was. Well, my first really big speaking gig with over 1,000 people in the room. And it was the women's summit, it's a big women's conference that comes to Austin every year. I was the morning keynote speaker. And this was way early in my professional speaking career. It was like in 2012 or 13. And I go out there and there's probably 2,000 women in the audience and I've got my speech and I had prepared for it and I knew what I was going to talk about. And back then I was a car dealer and I was going to talk about women empowerment and women working in a man's world, like stuff I walked out and lived out at that point every single day of my life. I did that. And those of you that are on right now, will you share this out, please? Give me some comments. Let me know you're here. Share this out because it looks like I'm getting on a roll. Anyways, so I get up on the stage. And I'm like, I got this. This is what I do. These are my people. I'm in Austin, Texas, la, 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 la. And I mean, literally my throat starts drying up. And I didn't have any water on the podium. And to this day, I have water with me that's the first thing I ask the meeting planners when I'm on stage. I'm like, I need a bottle of water on the podium. Because that freaked me out so bad that time. Like my throat dried up. I didn't think I was going to get another word out of my mouth with no water and 45 minutes left to go on speaking. And so it happens to the best of us, right? There's something in our body sometimes that just shuts us down, that paralyzes us, that stops us in our tracks. And it's fear. So in the absence of courage, right? Meaning that we are fearful to do what we're afraid to do. I will tell people, you got to do it scared. So sometimes you just have to acknowledge the fact that I'm scared, I'm terrified, I'm nervous right now. I don't know what the outcome of this event will be, or of this ask, or of this whatever I'm doing, but I'm going to do it anyways, right? In the absence of courage, do it scared. So do it anyways. I tell you all that to say, people are absolutely paralyzed right now in this economy. And so, me, the first thing I say is turn off the news. They lie. Turn off the news, right? There's a reason that there's a 24-hour news cycle. And they've got to keep feeding the propaganda machine propaganda to keep that 24, to keep you paralyzed, to keep you afraid, to keep you turning on the news. Like, think about when we have a major event in our country, anything, a terrible, a tragedy happens. What is the first thing we do? We turn on the news. All right, the 24-hour news cycle. And I start to figure out, like, if I sit there for an hour, the next hour I'm going to see the same thing, and the next hour the same thing, and the same thing, and the same thing, right? So at some point, like, you need to know what's going on planet Earth. I get it totally. I get my news from Twitter, on Reuters. I love Reuters. If you all have not used Reuters on Twitter, it's excellent, because that's what the news, that's what Fox and CNN and MSNBC and all these guys use to create their biased news report. Right? They get the facts from Reuters, and then they take it, they make it their own. So why not you take it and make it your own? That's what I do 99% of the time. I don't even know how to turn on the news at my house. I really don't. Like, whatever, my husband's got such a complicated system when it comes to all of our audio, video, TVs, whatever. So I don't even know how to turn them on. So anything I see online, and I try to watch Reuters and, a couple of the news stations that I happen to trust. But anyways, that's not what I'm here to talk about today. You guys know me. Like, I feel like I'm having conversation with all my friends. So, forgive me for that. But what I want to talk about today is what is going on in the real estate market in the United States of America, pertaining especially to Central Texas. But, if you're in any robust area that you still have you still have jobs and employment, this is probably going to be relevant to you. Have house prices come down? Yes, of course they have. Because think about, first of all, what drove house prices up? It was during the pandemic. And not to go down that whole rabbit hole, but the bottom line is it was supply and demand, right? There was more demand than there were supply of houses. And that wasn't just because of the pandemic, and that wasn't just because people were leaving California and coming to Texas. That was part of the problem, but that was not the only reason. The biggest reason is that the new home builders had to stop building, right? You had a pandemic, you couldn't get a workforce out there, you had supply chain issues, you couldn't get wood, glass, cement, bolts, nuts, you name it, you couldn't get it. It was nuts. James and I were building a house during the pandemic, and it kept getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back, right? I mean, things that were out of our control. But if you look at the National Association of Realtors and of Builders, one of the things that you learn is that about 40% of the homes sold every year, this is a pretty close number, are new homes. They are new construction. And that new construction really caters to that first-time home buyer a lot of times, right? Like when you see these big neighborhoods go in, D.R. Horton, KB Homes, I don't know, there's all kinds of them. But anyways, so they go in and they build what I call so many times affordable housing. So many times when you get into the resale market, you start to pivot out of that affordable housing and things get to be more expensive. So these affordable housing, these first-time home buyers, and I'm speaking to my part of the world, right? Central Texas, in outlying areas, Round Rock, Pflugerville, Hutto, Cedar Park, when they had houses that were 400,000 and under, 450,000 and under, well, all of a sudden that goes away, right? They have to quit building. So now you got builders that are not building, and you've got an insane amount of pressure on the resale market, because you still have people flooding in here. I'm speaking about Texas. You still have people flooding in here, and you do not have any new construction. So now you got a lot of people bidding on the same houses. And then you have the third pillar to that housing crisis, as it's well known for, is that there were people that didn't want people in their homes during the pandemic. I don't blame them. I sold my house during the pandemic. I'm like, take off your shoes, do this, do that, only one person at a time. I don't want all your little kids in here touching stuff. Like, I get it. Like, I did the same thing. Now, I still put my house on the market, but I felt the same way as a seller, right? There was that angst about having a bunch of people through your house. So if there were people out there that did not absolutely need to sell, they absolutely were not selling. So you had those three crazy things driving the fact that you had a lot of people and not a lot of houses. So when you've got supply and demand, and then let's talk about the fact that money was about free, right? Rates were under 3%. So you got free money, just about free money. You've got more demand than you've got supply. And so what happens? Ooh, right? The prices retch up. And they went up and up and up. And I got into bidding deals with clients of mine, 100,000 over, 150,000. It just happened, right? These were people that needed to move. They wanted the house. It is what it is. And, we all kind of just came to the conclusion that they were purchasing future appreciation. Is it worth it today? Maybe not, maybe not, but it will be in 2 years or 3 years, because we're still in a very thriving area that will always have appreciation. You might just be purchasing that appreciation ahead of time. I tell you all of that to say, have house prices come down? Yes. They've leveled out, right? We do, now we have a decent supply on the market, but like even in my town, there's not really enough houses for the demand. So we still have a bit of a supply and demand, but nothing like what we had during COVID. So that raised prices. And so now the market starts to correct. Why does it correct? Well, interest rates are up. They're up, but they're coming back down. My husband's locking a loan today for 5.75. Okay, which, that's still, it isn't 3%, but that's way under. I mean, rates y'all got to like 7.5%. It was insanity. So rates are coming back down. I heard something today from the Feds that inflation's getting under control. It's half of what it was, blah, blah, blah. Who knows? Anyways, all of that being said, yes, house prices have come back to a normal amount. So now is a good time to buy an investment property, to buy a house. And you ask me why, and I'm going to tell you why. As interest rates come down, okay, when rates go up, like what they've done, house prices come down. Okay, rates up, prices down. When rates come down, house prices go up. Just how it happens. That's just how it is, right? Why do they go up? Because when rates come down, people get kind of excited, and now it increases the demand. And with increased demand, increases bidding wars, increases offers, and then all you need is the house next door to sell for 50,000 more than what it should have sold for, and now you've just upped the comps in the entire neighborhood. So I've just given you an economic lesson according to Lisa. But it's all true. It's all true. So this morning I was out looking at properties, and I was sending over properties to an investor client of mine, and I was just going through the MLS for him, and I was sending him over. I sent him like 22 properties. So Austin, if you see those, look them up. But I sent him over like 22 properties, and all under $250,000, right? I wouldn't have found 22 properties under $250,000 that are just like primo investment properties a year and a half ago. No way. Those under 250 properties, there would have been 10 offers on them, 20 offers, maybe 30 offers. I stood in line one time with a client of mine just for our appointment to view the house, like a line like halfway down the street. I will never do that again. That was so stupid. But so assets are on sale. It's a great time to acquire property. So you say to me, okay, great. Yeah. Okay. I want to get in the game. I want the tax advantages. Hold on. I'm pulling up here. I run two different computers when I do these shows because I want my notes in here that I was working on. So, now's a really great time to get into the investment game. Now's really a great time to buy a cash flow, income producing property. So besides making a little bit of money on a property every single month, what are the advantages, you ask me? Like, why do I want to do that? You ever heard of a thing called depreciation? When you own an investment property, you're able to depreciate it. Okay. And so the depreciation comes directly off of your income. Now, I'm not a tax person. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just giving you some high level stuff to talk to your CPA and your financial advisors about. But depreciation is real. I love depreciation. You make $100,000, and let's say you've got $40,000 in depreciation on your investment properties, then you're only paying taxes. I mean, you start paying taxes at 60 grand minus all your other deductions. So that's a great thing. Right? So, what are the only real hacks to beat the tax man nowadays is buying a car that's over 6,000 pounds, because it's 100%. And if you're self-employed, it's 100% deductible the first year. Buying a jet, I think it's at 80%. Buying real estate, I mean, that's really it. And then your business expenses, but your business expenses are expenses. I mean, you've spent the money on that. So, I don't know that that's not really a hack. All that is you're just, reimbursing yourself at 30% of what you spent to build your business. So the real hacks in building generational wealth, because the number one expense that we have is taxes. If you look at all your expenses and put them on a spreadsheet, more than your mortgage is the money that you pay the government. So why would you not do everything in your power to decrease that tax liability and keep more money in your pocket? Build appreciating assets in your war chest versus taking the money, taking money and giving it to the government. All right. So I think you understand where I'm going with this. All right. So many times people say to me, well, God, I love what you're saying. I know you're right. This, that, and the other, but I don't have any money. I don't have any cash, or I'm nervous right now because I listened to the news last night. And the news said we should hold on to our cash because, bananas are more at the supermarket than they were in 2020. Yeah, all that's true. But you've got other assets out there, most likely, if you've been employed. If you've been a good tax planner, meaning if you're self-employed, buying your IRA every single year, your simple interest IRA, I think it is for us self-employed people, Roth IRAs for those of you that are not self-employed. So the simple interest IRAs, when you're self-employed, you get to buy it with pre-tax dollars, and then you're taxed at the rate whenever you cash it in after 62 years old. A Roth IRA, you're buying it with after-tax dollars, but then you get to, again, with the gains, right? You don't have to pay tax. I'm not sure on that one because I always buy the simple IRAs. I don't buy the Roth IRAs, but I do know that the Roths are bought with after-tax dollars. So, anyways, not trying to give tax advice, but I'm just telling you, all of us have that money, and I've got like 10 of these things, 10 or 15 of them. I don't even know. At $15,000 a piece, right? Mine and James's. That's just money that just sits out there. I didn't even know before I started doing all this work. I didn't even know how or what they were tied to. How did we make money on those? I didn't know. It was just out there because I had to purchase them because I wanted a tax write-off, right? I wanted to go get a tax write-off for it. Which in fact, I'm going to the bank today to buy 2 more of them. So what I've done is taken all of those vehicles, put them together, and put them into a self-directed IRA, right? So there's a plan for that, and there's companies that do that. Your bank doesn't do it. Your CPA doesn't do it. So what I've got is the company iPlan that I do mine with. I've got them on the 19th, which I think is Tuesday. No, is it Tuesday? Let's see. Tax day is Monday. God, I know that one. Oh, it's Wednesday. Wednesday, April 19th. Write this down. April 19th at 12 noon Central, 1 Eastern, 12 noon Central, 1 Eastern. And I'm going to have the owner of this boutique agency on here. She's going to run the webinar. She's going to give all the advice. And she is going to show you that you can 5x your investment portfolio by taking all of these orphaned vehicles, like your orphaned 401ks, all of these IRAs. And what is an orphaned 401k? That's all of us have had more than one job, most likely. And so you always leave a 401k behind. So you can take those 401ks and you can roll them into a self-directed IRA. Y'all are going to be shocked when you go take an accounting of all the little funds that you've got sitting around that I honestly could not tell you what any of those little accounts did for me, except that I knew that when someday I turn 62 or 65, I could start drawing on them. That's all I know about them. I couldn't tell you to this day the ones what they were tied to, what indexes, how I was paid on them. I don't know. I have no idea. Still don't have any idea. It doesn't matter because I've now pushed them all over to iPlan to go into a self-directed IRA. It's very inexpensive to do. She's going to talk about that on Wednesday, April 17th. Listen to me, April 17th. And this is the website for it, by the way, crushingitinrealestate.com, crushingitinrealestate.com. get registered for it. Nobody's going to bug you, whatever. And again, like, there'll be people from all over the country watching this webinar that I won't be able to sell real estate to. This is like, I'm sharing this with my audience. I'm sharing it with my clients too. Like, I've got 6 new clients that I'm just waiting on for them to finish with the paperwork on their self-directed IRAs so we can go out and go house shopping. This is good for a duplex, a fourplex, a single family home, to buy your first home. You can pay the expenses of the rental out of there. You can pay the mortgage payment out of there. You can pay for the repairs out of the fund, everything. I mean, finally, to take all of that money and literally, and we'll talk about it on Wednesday, but there's a really big guru who does a podcast, and we're going to talk about it. And he's done this whole analysis on the fact that it's 5x, minimum of 5x of taking your money from a regular IRA, orphaned 401k, stock market, all of that, and redirecting it, right? Self-directing it. Self means, right, that you take control of your money and your assets. Boy, that's a novel idea. So on the self-directed IRA, why does it make sense? I'm looking at my notes here. So number one, it gives you greater investment flexibility. It allows you to invest in a wide range of assets, including stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. This also includes real estate, which can provide diversification. The tax advantages: a self-directed IRA provides tax advantages similar to traditional IRAs, and contributions can be tax deductible. So here's my example. I'm going to go today, and I think it's $7,500 we can put in now. You know, you get the after $50,000 makeup, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So it's $15,000. So I'm going to go put $15,000 in today for James and I. Then I'm going to turn around next week and I'm going to send it over to iPlan. And so, okay, so we're going to be able to take that $15,000 off if we ever file a tax return. We're filing an extension. We're going to be able to take the $15,000 off of our income. Boom. So now all of a sudden I've got a tax deduction. I've got an asset sitting there, right? That someday, whatever, it's our money at a certain point. We're going to put it into a self-directed IRA. I'm going to turn around and I'm going to invest that $15,000 that I put in that IRA. I'm like my hands. I'm such a hand talker. And I'm going to put it into real estate. So what did I just do? I am getting $15,000 tax write-off, which doesn't suck. And then I've got $15,000 more to put into these properties that we're buying, right? So guys, it is the biggest no-brainer on the planet. Like, this is all I can talk about with people. This is all I can talk about with people. It's like, I wish I would have known this. I wish I would have known this 2 years ago. But, sometimes, but once you know something, this is one of those things that you can't unsee it once you've seen it. You cannot unsee it. It's absolutely the greatest wealth real estate hack on the planet. You get the tax write-off, you got the money, you've got it sitting there for the someday, and then you're able to self-direct it, put it into an IRA, and then buy an appreciating asset, which is real estate. Okay. Let's see. Number 3, you have more control over your investments. We talked about that. Number 4, ability to leverage funds. With a self-directed IRA, you can leverage your funds by using a non-recourse loan, which means like a Fannie or Freddie, FHA or VA, to purchase real estate. This allows you to invest to higher value properties that you might not be able to buy with cash alone. So bottom line is that this is an approved an approved equity tool. Equity meaning cash, equity meaning down payment for all mortgages, FHA, VA, Fannie, Freddie, jumbos, all of it. So it's cool. Like, you can say to your mortgage company, hey, I've got this self-directed IRA and I'm going to use that for my 10% down payment. Boom. Easy peasy. Then you never have to hit your savings account if you don't want to, right? If you want to keep your cash, but cash is trash. That's another video. Number 5, diversification. Investing in real estate through a self-directed IRA can help you diversify your retirement portfolio, and real estate has low correlation with traditional stocks and bonds and can help you reduce your overall portfolio risk. I don't know about you. I can't even look at my 401k right now, or my orphaned one. I can't. It's terrible. Terrible. I'm not making money. I can tell you that. So guess what? I'm in the process of that one doing. Moving it over to self-directed, right? It's my old 401k. So now I can take it and I can move it into a self-directed account. So versus losing money in the stock market and all the junk that's going on planet Earth, I can take it and I can invest it in real estate. And I think I'm pretty good at finding deals, okay? And then number 6, it's potential passive income. So real estate investments can provide a source of passive income through rental income. Now, if you purchase 100% of the property through your self-directed IRA, all of the rent, all the money has to go into it. If you use part of it and the other part you take out a mortgage, I want you to talk to your tax person about that. But at the end of the day, this is the greatest way to build your portfolio, to build your wealth, to outrun the tax man. So now once let's just say you've purchased a duplex for $100,000, which you will not be able to do. Do not call me about that. They don't exist. But let's just say you purchased a duplex for $100,000 and the depreciation on it's over 39 years. Anyways, let's just say it's $20,000 the first year. Okay. I'm totally making these numbers up just for the record. That's another tax write-off that you get next year. And depending on what part of the country you live in, that duplex is going up between 8 and 15% a year in appreciation. So what does that do? It outruns inflation. I don't know what inflation's sitting at today. I think it went down. Let's just say it's at 6.5%. Whatever it is, it's way too high. So now you have outrun inflation because you have an asset that's appreciating at a higher rate of return than the inflation numbers, than the inflation figure, whatever you want to call it, right? You can't lose. You cannot lose in real estate if you're working with the right person. You know, whether it's me or someone else, do your homework on whoever you're working with in real estate. Make sure they understand these basic principles that I've told you about. And if they don't, you need to find an agent that does. You need to find an agent that works with investors and understands the investment game. But most importantly, I want y'all to register for crushingitinrealestate.com. Even if you can't make the live, we will send you out the playback, and you are going to be blown away what you can do with these old IRAs. You know what I call are like they're like forgotten assets. I mean, I have so many of those because I'm old, I guess, but I had so many of them that I didn't even know. Like we had to like really dig to find everything because every year we do what we do now. And we go to the bank, and we've changed banks a couple times, and we go to the bank and we buy them so that we can have them to write off of our taxes. Sitting there doing God knows what, but hundreds and thousands of dollars that I didn't even think about. I mean, frankly, I would have used them to buy this house. So I'm kind of glad I didn't, because now I'm going to use them to buy investment properties. So I hope this helps. You know, I always want to be a resource, an asset. You know, I love what I do. You know, I feel like I live, eat, breathe, drink, sleep real estate. I just do, because I've helped so many people make so much money in the last 3 years. If you follow me on Facebook, like you'll see my clients, they post about it. They're like, oh my God, like it's, guys, this is the only way to build generational wealth. You look at the wealthiest people in this country, barring they had a big IPO or a big exit, or their last name is Rockefeller, right? So they inherited it. The money in this country is made in real estate. And it's the only thing that you can make a ton of money and shelter your money from taxes at the same time. All right, please get signed up. Please get signed up. Oh, let's see. Leslie says VA only allows for primary, not investment. That is correct. Going through this process now. Yeah, VA is only for, well, almost always only for residential, you know, for homestead. But if you have a little bit left over, sometimes you can push some of that over into an investment property. I did mortgages for years. I own Austin Mortgage. My husband runs it now, but there is some hack around the VA if you've got some leftover entitlement, but I don't want to speak on it. I'm not sure 100%. But anyways, please, please, please get onto this webinar on Wednesday. I promise you it'll be the best. It's going to be easy. You know, it's not a sales pitch. We're not trying to sell you real estate. I just want you to know what you can do with these orphaned vehicles. And I say orphan because like you don't think about them. You know, that $15,000 that I'm going to have to go write the bank a check for today, I can't use it for a long time because, you know, you get penalized if you take it out before the age of 62 or 65, whatever that looks like. But I can use it for real estate and not get penalized. Guys, I've had so many clients before I knew all of this that they would go take money out of their 401k for a down payment and borrow it from themselves or cash it out and pay penalties. If I would have known this then, I would have helped them dig around a little bit harder. So information is power. Disinformation will hold you back. Misinformation will hold you back from building generational wealth. And so, you know, courage is the new currency, right? It takes guts. It takes guts to get into this market. It takes guts to unlearn what you've had a lifetime of learning. And then I'm going to leave it with this. You're going to love what I say. You're going to get onto this webinar on Wednesday. You're going to be so pumped up, so excited. You're going to call your stock market, your stockbroker, your financial planner. You'll be like, I'm going to move all this money. I'm going to move it into self-directed IRAs. And they're going to go, no, 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 don't do it. Because that's the conversation I had with my wealth manager. He's like, no, no, you don't want to do it. Of course he doesn't want me to do it. They don't want me out of the stock market. They don't want me out of bonds. They don't want me out of that, right? That's why they call it a self-directed IRA, because this is you taking back your power, learning all you can learn to build generational wealth, which you're going to learn on Wednesday at crushingitwithrealestate.com, crushingitwithrealestate.com. We're going to show you how to take control of your financial future, to buy assets, meaning properties, and to build generational wealth in real estate. All right. I hope y'all have a great day. I'm going to be on here like 9 more times between now and Wednesday because I want everybody to understand the power that you have. And I want you to understand that there's only one way to get wealthy in this country, and that's with real estate. I hope y'all have a great day. Lisa Copeland signing off. Bye-bye.